Okay, sound test. Okay, sound test. I think we're good, right. So the idea today is to create a new game mode for Battlefield 6, and I've decided that we're going to do a full-blown, and I mean a full-blown, hostage release game mode where you've got defenders defending a hostage, and then you've got the attackers, Team 1, have to release the hostage and protect him whilst he makes his way back to the main base. And we're not going to just do some half-hearted time. We're going to do this full-blown all the way through. So yes, we'll have a quick look into this now. So the stream's all good. Get rid of that. We've got Portal open in one. We've got Godot open another. And we're going to do a night map as well. It's not going to be a real. It's not going to be night map. You know, it's going to be pretty dark. People are going to need. They're going to need the flashlights and stuff on their guns, at least. And we'll put some lighting in the map as well to make it look like it's actually sort of evening, nighttime. And most people don't know how to do this, but actually it's actually really simple to make a night map. Because all you have to really do is just cover the map in an object to hide the sun. There are options in the editor to change the sun and things like that, but unfortunately it doesn't really work. Maybe that'll get fixed one day, but we're going to actually do a workaround on that by just simply covering the map once we're done. So we're starting afresh. We're on Siege of Cairo, or known in the editor as Abazid. I've removed everything except for the buildings and the terrain. If you don't know how to get this far, then you're probably better to watch a tutorial video on how to set up Godot for Portal and do that first. So that's the start for Team 1 here. And Team 2 are going to be... they're going to be here. So what we're going to do first is we're actually going to just set up the hostages first and get that main part of the game mode out of the way, and then we can set up all of the spawn points for players last. We can do that last. So let's get this going. So we're going to create a new 3D node, and we're going to call this hostages, or actually we'll just call this hostage 1. We're going to have 16 hostages, but only 4 of them need to be captured and returned back to base safely. And the reason why we're going to do 16 is because it's going to randomize the location of each hostage after one's been brought back to main base. The next hostage location is going to be completely random. So the cutoff point for this, if we go into this mode here, so this is here Team 1 spawn. We'll do this as Team 1 spawn here. And Team 2 spawn just under the bridge here, or just there. So the cutoff is everything in between these places. So that block there is basically the spawn for 1. This area under the bridge is going to be spawn for 2. So all the hostages need to spawn in this block here and this block here. Okay? And to do this, it's going to be pretty straightforward, and then a little bit of coding is going to be required to actually make the AI hostage, because they're going to be AI characters, and it's going to take a little bit of effort just to get them to actually follow a path back to the main base. Now, this map is already naturally it has AI pathfinding built into it. And it seems to be very, very accurate as well. So whoever made this map was really good at the AI pathfinding situation. So we can exploit that. So first things first, we are going to put in our first hostage. And what we want to do as well is find like an enclosed space, but not too enclosed, because we want to actually protect the hostage with some objects as well, like maybe some stone covers or barriers and things like that, because otherwise you're just going to have endless amounts of hostages dying, and the game's just not going to progress. So we need to protect the hostages whilst they're in situ as best as possible. So first things first, we're going to come to an open space to work with first. We're going to put in a AI spawner, and we're going to just drop him down to the ground. Get zoomed in on him nice and close. Make sure he's not under and not directly on top. We want to raise him up very slightly from the ground to make sure that he actually doesn't get stuck in the floor at any point. So here's our hostage. He's going to stand there and wait until the team 1 interact with him, and then he'll start moving back to the main base. Okay, and once we've done this, we can just duplicate him and put him in 16 different places. So we've got the AI spawner. We want to see what we can do here. So we've got maybe let's just put stone blocks. There's a lot of stone blocks here, stone barriers. When it's a barrier, you know that it's indestructible. So let's have a look at. So that's quite tall. It's too tall. Is the one which is just too tall? Yeah, there's 1, 2. That one's 2. That's not too bad. Just put the clipping back on there so we can keep it all uniform and centralized. That's good. I'm just wondering if there's a little object in the game, like a little hut or something like that, or a shed. Let's have a look. A shed? Is there a shed wall? Oh, there's a shed wall. Okay. That's looking kind of okay. Okay. Let's see what other walls are available. Foundation walls, wall shrapnel. What's that? Shrapnel wall. Foundation wall. Foundation wall straight. Wood. We don't really want barricade boards. Wood. Interesting. We can always just spawn that in and see how it works afterwards. So what we're going to do is just test it with this one hostage first. So we'll get rid of him, and we're going to just jump into game, into this map. We're going to go to create a new map, start editing, game mode, put it an hour for now, Siege at Cairo. No bots, don't need anything like that. Let's just turn everything on. Turn everything on for the moment. Just get into that afterwards. We're just going to call this hostage dev for the moment. Don't even need to give it a description. That's a good one for that's a good one for hostages. Even better. Create a new one. Experience saved. Into game, community. My experiences. Is that saved? Hostage dev. What we're going to do is just have a quick look at the map and find some really niche places to put some hostages around the map. So I think instead of having the main base for okay, that's fine. We've just got to put some spawn points in real quick. In fact, we'll just do that now. We're going to just do a quick team 1 spawn just here. So back to the editor here, we're going to go to create a new node 3D, and we're going to call this team 1 headquarters, or we'll call it team 1 main actually, sod it. And then we put in a HQ here, HQ player spawner, put that into there. So let's move team 1 first of all over to where we want it. That'll do, just there's fine. HQ player spawner. Let's get that over to there as well. I'll try and keep it all sort of neat and tidy on the actual terrain lines. Let's put it on. We'll put it in the middle of this here. Team 1 main, let's move that across a little bit. Put it down a little bit, put it across a little bit. So it's pretty much in the same place. Now I can drag that parent into there. So this is the main HQ, and that is going to be the controller basically for everything that we do at the main base. And we want to put some spawners in. We don't want to play a spawner, we want an actual spawn point. Just drag them in, put him down, make sure he's facing the right way, put him back there. That's good. We just duplicate that 4 times. Spread them out a little bit further, so there's no kerfuffle. There we go. And now spawn point 1 needs to be changed to 1, so they're all accurate. And we need to create a polygon. So polygon volume. Drag that straight into there. Drop that down so it just peaks below the ground. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need 8 points on that volume. We go up to there, put it up to 8, and we're going to start putting those into place. So what we'll do is just go into top-down mode. It's more accurate to be able to place the points. So drag one there, drag one there. Let's try and keep them straight as possible. drag one. Let's put it on the actual corner of the road there. Okay, pretty happy with that. It's pretty straightforward. It's just line that up a little bit better. Like so. Yeah, we've got pretty much straight lines there, so we're happy with that. There we go, so we've got our HQ for Team 1. So we're just going to call that main HQ area. We'll just drag that up to the top there. And now we're just going to connect all that up to the actual spawn. So the HQ area is going to be assigned to main HQ area. Infantry spawn points, we've got 4 of them. And assign all 4, so spawn point 1, spawn point 2. Oh, got a bit of a freeze. Spawn point 2. There we go. Cancel that. Assign that. Spawn point 3, and then assign spawn point 4, and that there is done. And we're actually going to do a save scene as on this, and we're going to call this hostage, Absid hostage, and save. So that's all done, ready for Team 1 to spawn in. So now Team 2 is going to be per hostage. So we're actually going to do just the first hostage. So what we're going to do is a new node. Not sure why that's so slow at loading. Hello? Hello? I'm not sure why that just did that. Very unsure why that just did that, but still, we'll just refresh the app. I'm not sure why this is playing up so slowly. Very weird. Okay, we're back to where we were. So like where were we? So hostage 1. I'm gonna just drag that out of the way. Hostage 1. Hostage 1 is going to comprise of a HQ for the enemy team, the spawn point, and the interaction point. Once we've got all that in place, very straightforward. So actually what we're going to do is go to an empty space and work on that. So let's just get that in down here somewhere neat and tidy. And then we can just drag and drop it all into the right places when we're ready to go. Try and get it onto a actual cross part like so. Just like we can always use that then as an accurate marker of moving things in the future. Let's just drag that down now. Let's try and get it as close as we can to the terrain here. There we go. Perfect. So this is going to be a HQ for the enemy as well. It will also show on the map of like the area that the hostage might be hiding. And as long as that's sort of randomized as well, it gives the team an opportunity to try and figure out where that hostage is being held. And we'll also put in a function which will allow the team to get hints to where that hostage might be as well. So we're going to treat this like any other HQ. We're going to put a HQ player spawner in there. One thing I forgot to do here. Main HQ, team 1, alt, team neutral. It's all done, that's fine. So hostage 1, we need a HQ player spawner. Let's get rid of that, I didn't want to do that. HQ player spawner. Put that somewhere neat in the centre as well, like that. Drag it up so we can see where we are. That'll do. So this is going to be called HQ Hostage 1. And we want a polygon volume again. Polygon volume. Drag that in straight in between. I'll just keep it all completely centerized, so when we're moving things, the whole lot moves as one centered piece. And we will drag that down so it actually goes into the ground a little bit. And we're actually going to give that a height of 20. There we go. That's quite high actually. Let's call it 12. Yeah, that's better. Actually 10? Yeah, it's matched our flagpole height maybe. There we go. 10. So we're going to call that HQ Hostage 1 HQ area. One. Okay, there we go. And again, some spawn points. So spawn points, spawn points. Drag them in. Again, just don't need to be anything specific with this. We'll keep them nicely centered in 4 points. Like that. And we're just going to highlight those spawn points and just make sure that they're a decent height, just so people don't spawn in the ground. Now, we also want to, from this, is we want, we'll change that to spawn point 1. Go to the HQ, and we're just going to add those into the array. So they assign the area, hostage area 1, infantry spawn points, there's 4 of them. Assign hostage area 1 spawn point 1, hostage area 1 spawn point 2, hostage area spawn point 3, hostage area spawn point 4. That is all linked, ready to go. We're going to change that to team 2 because it's the enemy team, and then team neutral is the alternate team. So actually it can't be captured. If I was to put that as team 1, then team 1 could technically capture that, but we're not going to do that. Team neutral means they're not going to capture, nobody can capture it. We can change the camera angles here as well, and I think we want an overview of quite far out. So we're going to put this at about, we're going to put this at 100, so when you're actually looking on the minimap you can see the whole area where that hostage might be hiding. Change the camera speed to 1 as well because it's a little bit faster standard. Camera look angle 30 degrees. That's fine. No, we'll do that at minus 45 degrees. Rotation direction, no, that's fine. Rotating range, change that to, we'll change that to 4. That's fine, I'm sure. We're just going to hit save on that, just make sure we've saved progress. Now, important parts about the hostage. So, we want an AI spawner here, which is going to be, the location of our hostage when he spawns. Just make sure he's stuck out of the ground like that. Tell you what I'm doing here is I'm going to put an interaction point. Interact point is static. Let's just do it as though he's going to come out of his shoulders or just out of his chest here, like so. So that is going to be an interact point for the hostage, and then we're just going to move that spawn point back up a little bit so he'll fall into place when he spawns. That's good. So here we've got an AI spawner. So we've got hostage spawner 1. Interact. So this is the interact hostage 1. Now we need to give these really, really intelligent IDs. So we're going to start working as, so for example, Team 1 main. Team 1 main HQ is always going to be at 100. And then everything for Team 2 is going to be in the 200s. 201, 203, 204. Hostage spawn's going to be 301, 302, 304. Interact point's going to be 401, 402, 4, and so on. So, hostage HQ, hostage area, spawn point 1, point 2, all of that neatly put into one node for safekeeping, and there we have hostage 1. So in hostage 1, this is hostage 1 HQ, which is going to be, as I said, this is 201, so it's team 2, area 1. Spawn points are fine, but they can be left as any object ID, that's no problem for the moment. But the hostage spawner, like I say, the spawner is going to be 301, so that's 301 number 3 for the actual spawner, and then the first stage, and then the interact point is going to be 401, and then it'll be 402 up to 16, and so on. What else do we need for these hostages? Not much, actually. We can actually start working from this as it is. So we're going to leave this number 1 here until the very end, because we're going to use this as our static template. So I'm just going to go back here, close that off, go to hostage 1, and if you can see, look, I can move all of it at the same time. All we're going to do now is duplicate it, and there we go. We've got one ready to work straight away. So where's our first hostage going to be placed? As I say, when you're actually playing this, that'll be random. So whichever hostage comes up first is completely at random. So the locations will change, but you've still got to put those into place. I think the first hostage can go somewhere like here. Maybe open places like this, I think, need to be surrounded with a little bit of protection, otherwise the hostage will just die all the time. And we're going to give the hostage quite a lot of health as well to save on accidents that have happened, and give them the benefit of the doubt. In fact, the first hostage can probably go actually somewhere inside. This is a good area. This is very enclosed. I wonder if there's any kind of little hut or something we can... we had a look at shed already, but it's a shed wall. What else is there? Small. No, I'm just thinking if there's like a little protective asset that we could put in, but no. I mean, this is a great location here for a hostage, so this is where our first hostage is going to go. So we're going to move all of this asset into place as close as we can get it. There we go, we can see it all coming into fruition here. Let's drag it up so we can start seeing things. And our hostage, it doesn't really matter where they are right now because we're going to move it all anyway. So our first hostage location is going to be just here. I'm just going to quickly rename these to 2. Keep those as they are. Hostage spawner 2, interact hostage 2, HQ hostage needs to be 402, 302, hostage area is 202. So first things first, hostage area. We probably want to move that to top-down view to have a look. So we know that room's in there, so we're going to actually... I'm just going to give that a couple of more things to play with there. Drag that over there. So they know, the enemies will know just by looking at the map that the hostage is somewhere. Just somewhere in this building here somewhere. That's all they need to know. Just spread it out like so. That will do. Just like that. That's fine. I should probably put one more in there. That there is our hostage area. Let's just straighten that up a little bit. Perfect. Just like that. What we're going to do as well here, because the area that we've chosen is raised, we're actually going to drag that down now into the ground, and we're going to give that a height of 20 this time, just so it covers the rooftops as well. It doesn't really matter, but it's there when we want it. Now, the spawn points. Now, the enemy is going to be coming from this direction, so the spawn points for the enemies need to be further away from the point to give them a chance to respawn and go back. So we're going to drag a few spawn points out of the way. First one can go here, so players can spawn there. Spawn point 2 can also go somewhere very close to here. In fact, I'll put 2 in the same place. Just like that. That's fine. Spawn point 3, so they've spawned there. Maybe put them over here. Yep, that's a good place. Just down there is good. We're going to rotate them. And the last spawn points can come over here too. Gives the enemies a chance to block this entrance off, so when they're crossing the road, it's helpful for them to get an advantage on rescuing this hostage. Like that. That's good. So the spawn points are in place. The hostage is next. I need to put him in a healthy position. So he's in a room. We could put him in fact, what we want to do is we want to move them both at the same time, the interact point as well. Keep them all together. Will he fit behind here? Yeah, why not? Will he? Yeah, it should be fine. Or even better, hide him there, right in that corner. Happy with that. Happy with that. So, first place is done. And that was 2 of 2. So go back to a new place to find a hostage. Where can we go? somewhere in the same block maybe. These buildings are good as well because they're this is a good place just here. That's a good place. So hostage 1, duplicate, drag it all the way over. Let's put this one into place. Oh. It's already a pretty neat fit. Okay. Let's just drag this out of the way. Hostage 3. 3. 3. 3. And 3. And we want to change that to 403, 303. We'll put that again at 20, and we'll just lower that down a little bit further. Seems okay where it is. And then 203. Hostage area. Okay. Top down view, let's get that going. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's put 8 in there. Let's drag them into place. We want to actually make the area much bigger than that because we're giving away too much intel on this one because he's outside. And you can probably just spot him with the drone. So we're actually going to put him on the whole block of this here, anywhere in this area. Nice decent sized intelligent area there. Nice straight lines. Always keep these lines as straight as possible because otherwise when you look at the minimap it's just going to look kind of shoddy. Okay, there we go. There's our second hostage area. Let's put the spawn points into place now. So again, the enemies are going to be coming from over here. So we want to put spawn point 1. We want them to be... Wow. Here's a good place. Put 2 in each location. Offers squads more chance to stick together and help each other out once they've spawned. And enemies have not got, the friendlies have not got enemies coming from all sorts of direction. So the second, the third and the fourth point will probably want to come over here. We'll spawn them in here. Yeah, why not? And I think there's a little underlay thing here. Yeah. Let's put them in there. Under these arches. Like this. Perfect. And then the hostage wants to go in the corner, protected out the way, and we're actually going to give him some protection because he's outside here. So there we go. Statics. We want some Hescos, I think, here. There's one, there's two, there's a tall one, two tall ones. So we don't want... Oh, hang on, why is it frozen? It's got a good reason for this to freeze. There is none. I just don't get it. I mean, the whole app has just frozen on me again here. And I haven't saved, I don't think, since. If this fucking closes now and I've just lost that, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. I'm going to actually exit the game, hope that there's just some RAM issue. Oh, there we go, maybe it is. Maybe it's just RAM. Because I've got the game, got quite a lot of stuff running, so we can get rid of those. Get rid of those. Get rid of those. Let's put in a small barrier and a big barrier. Drag them down. To height. Reason I'm putting this in is because as soon as enemies enter from here or there, they're going to be able to kill the hostage accidentally. It's going to protect him. So they've got to get obviously close to be able to capture the guy. I'll just put some at an angle like this as well, in case there's a vehicle firing in from the road. That there offers pretty adequate protection for the hostage. And when we're going to put in these statics, we're going to actually just keep them out of the way of our work and put them into the statics list out of the way. Okay, so there's our third hostage in place. So another place to look for a hostage that's going to be good will be here. We don't have to worry about those spawn points because they're not going to be active. This is a good little hostage place. Nice close quarters. So we're going to duplicate. Drag them over. Once we put these four in place, we're just going to actually start working on the code and we can add the more hostage locations at another point in time. Here we go. Another hostage location in place. So hostage 4, area hostage 4, number 4, number 4, and we want to get that down to the bottom. Just going to move all that to there, like so. So hostage 4. So this is 204, 304, 404. Let's put our area into place. It looks as though it's in the ground already. That's fine. Go into 7 view and we will get this area put in. So we'll give that another few places. I know this is a bit out of bounds here. Doesn't have to be square on this one. Yeah, that's fine. That area like that. That's no problem. Leave it like that. Hostage area, I want to put that as probably a height of 20 again as well. Just to make sure it's out of place, we'll just drag that down. Make sure it's all underground. So, spawn points. I think they can be similar to this. So, over here. Put some more spawn points here, shall we? With these guys, they're in a somewhat decent position still. Mess that up. I've accidentally duplicated that spawn point for some reason. So spawn point 1 and 2, that's better. Drag it over. We're going to actually just dump them right here. Fine with that. Spawn point 3 and 4. We want to put probably right back over here. In fact, we're going to spawn them in this building here. Happy with that. And then the actual hostage, put him in a nice comfy position, and he should be hiding away in this corner inside this building, facing that sort of back to the wall area. Right, I'm happy with that. So we got 4 points in. Now, this is going to be sort of, if there's going to be 16 hostages, but it doesn't really matter at this point in time where they're going to be. The hostages spawn points for the enemies are going to be all attached with that as well. So we're just going to do a save, and from here we're actually going to do an export as well. We're actually going to do an export there as well, just for the time being. And now we're going to concentrate on the actual Portal editor, which is going to be how this game mode is going to work. And there's a few things that we need to put in place here, like, for example, how does the game know when to end the game once the 4th hostage has been extracted? How does the game know that the enemy team have killed, say 400 reinforcements? So say let's 100 reinforcements per hostage. And how does the actual hostage get interacted with, etc., etc., etc. So we're going to do game setup first, and this is going to be on game mode started. We need a few things here. So first of all, what do we have? We've got HQs. So what we're going to do is enable these HQs, which is the spawn. It's the flag areas, the spawn points for the teams and things like that. So first of all, the friendly team is always going to have, let me just check that I actually put this as 101. I think I did. It's always worth checking. No, it didn't. It's 101. There we go. It is now. Just save that again. Export. So 101 is always going to be active from the start of the game. Okay. How do we tell the game to start a random hostage situation and the HQ that's attached to that on the map? And to do that, we need to set a variable, basically. It's all attached to each other. We want to make sure that it's all at the same location. So so at the game start, we're going to just change this also. We're going to put, because this is going to be setting up the actual game, the rules, the scores and things like that. What we want to do is actually set up initial hostage. The first hostage is going to be done like this. And we're going to put on spawner spawned, on spawner spawned, and then we're going to do a set of conditions. So if, for example, spawner, get spawner, if we get equals, so if spawner, if the event get spawner equals, what do we say that the spawners were? So for example, hostage spawner is a set of arrays of 300 plus, so 301, 302, 303, 304, etc. So 301, and we want to put a spawner event in there, event spawner. So that is going to ask the question, when an AI has been spawned from any spawner, if it's spawner 301, then we want to go to enable HQ 201, which is going to allow the enemies to have that little HQ around the spawner. And also interact point, get interact point 201 needs to be also enabled to true. Now we just duplicate that and just go 302, 202. What did we say the interact points were? Interact points were in the 400s. Okay, 400, so that's 401. Sorry, 402. I never changed it on the first one here, 401. That could have been a nasty bug. That's done. And this needs to be 303, 203, 403, like so. And one more for the fourth one that we've placed. So just bear with me here. The first one we haven't actually placed. We're going to do that before we go any further. So we'll put it in anyway. 303. So 304, 204, 404. So we've got 3, 1, 2, 3. We've got the first 4 hostages there. At the start of this as well, we also want to spawn an AI from a spawner. How do we do that? Well, there is an object here called spawn AI from a spawner, but we want to make sure it's randomized. So we're going to actually put in get spawner, and get rid of the number, and we're going to type in random bool or random real, minimum number of 301, oops, and then the highest number of 304. That is going to spawn from one of those four points, and we need that enemy. We need that to be on the enemy team, so the enemies can't kill him, but the friendlies can, and he's going to spawn onto team 2. Okay. And also what we want to do is we want to remove all the equipment from that person that spawned. We want him to stand there basically doing nothing, with holding nothing at all. He needs to have nothing. So to do that, we're going to do a whole list of things here. So we've got to go to remove equipment from that player. I'm doing that wrong. No, I'm not. I'm not sure if this is the same array or not. We'll just check. Event player. I'll put that in. Let's put this full screen for everybody. Yep, that works. And then we're going to put in inventory slots, and we're going to actually remove everything. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're going to remove from every slot in that list. 2, melee weapon, misc, primary, secondary, treble. That will make him do absolutely nothing. Do we want the AI character to be prone? Maybe. Should we have? We can't. We don't want to have him lying down. Needs a name though. Needs a name. So we're going to give him a name. So what I've done here is I've changed that there. I've moved that across from team 2 because this now gives me the option to give him a name. So I'm going to just go message and a literal, I don't want a number, that's the wrong one. I want to put a message and we're going to call him hostage. In fact, put it in capitals, hostage, like so. And ideally, should we have him spotted so you can see him on the map? But actually I think we should give him an icon. So everybody always knows where he is. So what we want to do first here is we need to turn off all the other HQs here. We're going to turn them all off. So 201, false. We're turning off all of the enemy HQs at the start. 201, 202, 203, 204. And we're also going to be turning off all of the interact points from the start. So 401, 402, 403, 404, 402, 403, 404. Turn all of those off at the start of the game, and then once the game started, after about 10 seconds, so we're going to put a wait function in. We'll just do it 5 seconds, it doesn't matter. It's something that people are not going to really notice, but it will just separate these. It'll just allow the game to start and make sure everything's in place before actually activating the first hostage randomly. So we've got the hostage spawned from that spawn, from one of those spawners, with the name hostage onto team 2. Once he is spawned, it's got to detect which spawner he's spawned from, and then enable the HQ accordingly, like so. So once we've done that, how do we get the friendly players to interact with the hostage to then allow that hostage to start moving by his own accord and finding his own way back to the main base? So to do that, we're going to make a new rule down here. And we're going to go interact. We're going to call it this is only for reference, the rule, so I can actually search back, because this might get quite a big list eventually. So interact hostage, and we're going to go to on interact, which is going to be here somewhere, on player interact, and we want to make sure that the enemies can't interact with it. It's only the friendlies. And so to do that, we're going to do a condition, and this is going to run only if this is a condition. So we're going to put equals. So what does this do? So it's player event. So the person that is interacting, no, I've done this wrong, sorry, just ignore me. So the team that player is interacting from is team 1, which is friendly. So nobody can interact with that unless you're on the friendly team. Okay, and we need to have it as a condition to tell the AI to start moving. And to do that, we're going to need a variable. Now, a variable is putting something into a list for later usage. This is how I like to think. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a variable as global, as a player. And if I go to new variable, and I'm going to say is informant, I won't even use that, I'll just call it hostage, is a hostage. If that player is a hostage, i.e. the AI is a hostage, true or false. I'm not sure if that's going to work actually. No, we're going to do a slightly different variable to that, and I'll explain why. Because when we're doing a player, you can't tag that player then cannot be tagged into other functions. So we're going to make a AI known to a global variable. So to do that, we're going to do is hostage variable, and we're going to keep that, it's not even a question, is hostage. There we go. And when we spawn that AI from a spawner here, we want to immediately put that the ID of the hostage and the ID of that player into that array. So we're going to go to arrays, set variable at index. It's always going to be at the set 0 index for this. We're going to put the variable into there. Is he a hostage? Or in fact, it is the hostage. Always at index 0 because there's only going to be one hostage at a time. And arrays always start at 0. So 0 is always 1. And that event player becomes that hostage. Okay? When that hostage dies, we're going to have to reset that array, which is very straightforward as well in a command when we get to on hostage has died. So after 5 seconds, that guy is, I'll just put it at 2 seconds, just any delay, it's pretty instantaneous. After 2 seconds, that hostage is then identified as the hostage, and all of that information for that person is in the array. So when we interact with the hostage, on a player interact, okay, we want to make sure that the interact is definitely a hostage, because later in the game we might want to put interact points in for other functions like I don't know, maybe an Easter egg or anything, or a way for a player to interact with a computer or something, just something random. So we're going to put OR in here and start building an AND function. So it's not just this that is on team 1 interacting, and or event interact. Does that exist? It does. Event interact point. Okay, so get interact point first. No. I think it's equals again. Yeah. And then interact point, get interact point. And we want to, that's the event of the interact point. And that interact point that we've got here goes from 401 to 404. So 401. And we need to duplicate that into itself. 402. Duplicate that again. 403. But not again because that's the last one. We just do the equals at 404. So that there is the call to know that whoever is interacting has to be on team 1, who is a friendly, and is interacting with one of those 4 points once that's done, we need to move the AI player back to main base. Now, interesting, because what we need to do now is take a vector, which is a location on the map that we wanted to return to. So we're going to go AI move to behavior. And how do we identify which AI to move? Because we've got interact here, if I put in, for example, event player, that is not an AI player. The AI player is up here. But because we put him into a variable, into an array, we know how to identify him. So we're going to put go value in array, and the array that we want to look into is hostage, and we want to look at index 0, which is going to be the AI character. And now we want to tell him where to move to, which is going to be the vector. So we want to create a vector here. Let's just put some numbers in there just for the moment, just so I don't have to drag and drop them after. And before we put this in, we're going to go back to our Godot, and we're going to actually get a location for him to send him to. And we want to send him back to our main base here. So let's say we want to send him back. He's going to run all the way back to here. So what I'm going to do here is going to put in a spawn point for just a reference. It's not actually going to be a spawn point. It's just so I can place it on the ground and get that guy to run to that point. Because we can't actually get an AI to go exactly to that point. And I'll explain why. Because an AI will go as close as possible to it, but not actually to it. And unless it's not an exact number that it goes to, an exact vector, it's not going to work. So what we need to do is allow the hostage to get within a meter, up, down, left or right, and then that will be sufficient. So we'll just tidy up these coordinates. So it's minus 306, 66, oh no, needs to be 67, 67, 84, perfect. Nice round off numbers there. We're going to put those in to here, but like I say, to detect that he's made it back is going to be different. So those numbers is minus 306, minus 306, 67, 84. That's going to make him run to that point, or as close as possible. How do we make him run? So, move speed, I think it might be, yeah, AI set move speed for, again, the AI value in the array. And we want to put in as a move speed item. We can have him just sprint, patrol, investigate, walk, slow walk, run, sprint, walk. Now if we put sprint, it might be a bit too fast for the enemies to be able to catch up with him. Should we just have it a run? Why not? We'll just make him run, just normal without a sprint. Should we give him a smoke grenade so he can conceal his location a little bit better? Yeah, why not? We'll give him a smoke grenade once you've interacted. So we're going to add equipment, and we're going to give him a gadget, and we're going to give him a launcher smoke grenade, and we're going to put that into slot. gadget slot 1, and then we're going to go force switch inventory for the same guy to go to use gadget slot 1. Should we make him fire it? I think he will automatically do that. If there's an enemy nearby, I'm pretty confident that he will probably already try and fire it towards or at his feet to hide himself. So I don't think we need to actually force him to fire in this situation. I think we can just do that as it is. So that is done. When that player interacts with that hostage, he's going to run back to that location. Now, the question is how do we progress from that point to detect that he's made it back safely? Well, first of all, we need to put in a recall just in case he dies. So, in case he dies, we pretty much want to run all of this here, except for HQ1. So we're going to drag that out now. Oh, what we want to do is going to make a subroutine for this now, so we can just call that any point. So we're going to call this create new hostage. Put that there, drag all of that into there like so as a subroutine, and just actually put the subroutine there to run from the game mode started. So now at any point we can just call those commands at any point and it'll start again. So new rule, death of hostage. So death of hostage, we're going to put on player died, and the condition is that it's the value in the array. So the event player has got to equal the value in the array. So we need to put an equals who has died, which is the player itself, the event player, the AI. And that player that has died has got to be the hostage, like so. First thing we want to do once he's died is we want to remove him from being identified as a hostage and free up that space for the next available hostage. And to do that, we can simply go to we could do it 2 or 3 different ways. We could put the value in that index as something completely different, or we could actually just empty the array completely. And I think what we'll do is we'll actually empty the array completely on this. So we're going to go to now this is a little bit complicated, but I should be able to work this out quite quick. So variables, we're going to set that variable is hostage, and we're going to type in empty array. Perfect, I think. I'm not convinced actually. How does it compare? Let me just check. Yes, that's the correct one. So set that variable back at the AI location of 0 in the index to empty. So it's waiting for new information, waiting for a new hostage information. And we want to probably put a wait function in there. We don't want a new hostage to spawn instantly. We're going to just call like 10 seconds. And after 10 seconds, it needs to generate a new hostage, which we've put into subroutine. So just create a new hostage. Done. That is done. So how do we detect that the hostage has made it back safely? Right. That is the question. we could we're going to continue it from the interaction point. We're going to try this function. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but ongoing player is a hostage returned to base. This is only going to be ongoing if it is the hostage. So again, we can just copy that condition we've just made for the hostage dying. I'm sure that's going to be sufficient. And then we're going to go if distance between, no, we want something less than distance between. If the distance between the AI character and the vector that we wanted it to go to is less than 2 meters. So to get the current ongoing location of the AI hostage, we need to get his state. So we're going to go get soldier state. Get soldier state for the hostage. And we need to get that to output his position. I position. No, we want it actual get position. And then we need to put the vector in from what we told him to go to, which is here. We can just copy that straight in. So that will say, if that hostage has got back to main base safely, that's fine, no problem at all. What do we do with the hostage once he's returned back to the main base? At the moment, we don't want him to do anything because we're going to actually test run this now and see how that fares up, basically. But what we will want to do is he will need to be killed, unfortunately. So we're going to put a wait function in and just say after 5 seconds he's going to die, which doesn't matter because he's not going to lose points or anything like that. It's just to get rid of him off the game for the next hostage. And just to confirm that it's okay, we're just going to send ourselves a message notification. Display a notification to say that he is literally, all of this has worked. And this is just for the purpose of debugging the problems that we might come across. I might have to change this function from ongoing to an actual player event. Not sure. I'm pretty sure that's going to be fine. So test OK will just be sufficient. And I'm going to be on team 1, so get team 1. OK. So we've made the hostage go back, or if he's died, he's respawned, or a new one has been spawned in a random place. And we've also done it so you can interact with him. And he has returned back to base. We're going to save. We're going to boot up the game now and what am I doing? We'll boot the game up now and give that a quick run through. I'm pretty confident that should work straight away, but it's always a bit hit and miss with having a subroutine. What we'll do after this is start doing more of a scoreboard scoring system, so we can score how many of each team has scored. How do we know when to end the game when the fourth hostage has been spawned? Because this is just going to loop over and over and over again now until we actually tell it to when to stop. So we'll just see what happens. Whilst we're in Godot, we can actually get rid of this spawn point that we just put there for complete. Oh, I've just made a mistake here, I think. No, I haven't. Yeah, we just got rid of that temporary spawn point there just to reference the thing. What I'm going to do is just save that scene, go to BF Portal, export it. I've exported it, and in Portal, I'm going to go up here, include spatial data, add that JSON into that point, which is going to be hostage spatial. And save. Done. Hopefully this should be pretty much straight off the bat working. My experience is hostage dev, host locally. My experience is hostage dev. So, what we haven't done is a deploy camera, which is why the map looks silly, but at least we can spawn in. Oh, look at all my challenges. Oh, thanks for that, guys. So, we had at the start there a loading point. Our spawn point works, and we have a hostage in one of those 4 places. So let's go to one of those 4 places. We could have just spotted the target for us to make it easier for us. And we could have set a deploy camera so we could actually see where he is, but we know where the places are at the moment. There's only 4 places. So just going to go and run up to I think the first guy was here. Ah, see, we have a problem. We have an interact point. That interact point is active, but the hostage is in the wrong location. So what we need to do is make sure that we know what ball it is. And here's the hostage. There he is. And we can also interact with him. Interact with him. He's going to just fire smoke at me the whole time now. Yeah, I thought so. He is an enemy and I can kill him. But I want to be able to kill him because I want happy accidents to happen where if you do accidentally kill him, so he's quite good at concealing here. Not too bad. I think that's fast enough because, yeah. The only problem is that other AI on the friendly team may cause problems. He's back at the main base. What's going to happen? Maybe nothing. So the first thing that we've got to fix is the interact points and the hostages being in the same place. And we've also got to fix what happens to him when he gets back to main base. So we're going to actually just kill him. We'll exit back out and crack on with that. So good test so far for what it's worth. And I think what we're going to do here is fix it quite quickly with another array. How do we make the game pick an entire selection of points? And I think to do that, what we need to do is make a new variable. And we're going to be calling this a global variable. It's going to be a global variable. And we're going to call this the random setup. Random setup. And we need to get that to assign a random number to it every time. And to do so, we need to do the following. At the start of the game, on game mode started, we need to go to arrays. We're going to get rid of that create a new hostage thing for the moment. Might need to come back to that. Go into arrays, and we're going to go to random setup at index 0 again. And now in that index 0 of the random setup list, we're going to specify a random number. So we're going to put random real, duplicate, and then we're going to put that as a random real between. So the bases were, for the enemies, was 201, and the maximum that we had was 204. Okay. And then we're going to do a wait for 2 seconds just to make sure that is processed. And then we're going to call that subroutine to create a new hostage. In the create a new hostage, this is going to be a bit more complicated because we're going to put the following. If equals value in array is random setup at index 0. If it is at 201, okay, we're going to enable HQ 201. We're going to be disabling 201. We don't need to do that. We can disable that when the hostage has died or interacted. Okay. So we enable 201 for the base for that, and the interact point is going to be we're going to spawn the hostage in the correct place, which is 301, and then enable his interact point, which is 401. That is going to guarantee that all of those are in the right place. And now we're just going to replicate that to 202, 202, 302, 402. In fact, we can make this tidier with doing the value in the array. Instead of it being 202 to 204, we're just going to pull it 1 to 16. But in fact, we've only got 1 to 4 at the moment. But there will be 16 eventually once we've got this sorted out. So if the value is at 1, if the value is at 2, etc. If the value is at 3, so it's 203, 303, 403. And one more for the fourth one. And put that at number 4. So it's 204, 304, 404. That is absolutely going to guarantee that the interact points, the hostage points, and the spawn points and the HQ for enemy team 2 are exactly in the right places at the right time. So that bug is fixed. How do we change that if the enemy dies? Well, we've got to copy that. So set up initial hostage here. All of that now here can be gone because we're specifying the interact points to be spawned with the HQs in that there. But we still do want the hostage to have his equipments, sorted out. That's fine. And we need to know that it's him on the fact that he has died. We're going to double this out here. So we're going to change those to 5 seconds. So in the space of 10 seconds, it's going to select a new base between 1 and 4. Wait for 5 seconds and create a new base and hostage based off the thingy. So we've got a callback for the dead hostage. Now, do we want the hostage to be an enemy or friendly? And I think we could probably have him as a friendly to give the enemies chance to kill him for escaping. So to do that, we're just going to change all these to Team 1. So he's now on Team 1. That's done. He won't attack Team 1 friendlies anymore. He'll just smoke himself out or smoke out enemies. If he dies, selects a new number of base and hostage. That's done. Interact with the hostage. That's fine. Allow him to run back to that point. Has the hostage returned to base? Now this didn't work. This didn't work. I think we can work this out by removing all of this into a subroutine. So we're going to create a new subroutine and we call it hostage has returned. We need a looping function here. In fact, we're going to change that subroutine and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So hostage returning, because that way we can put markers with them as well. So if and then while, I believe that may be specific to that. Hostage returning. Now, do we want an if? we're going to change this slightly to more than. So instead of them getting between the less than 2 meters away from the point, we're going to actually do the opposite. We're going to do everything that it does need to do whilst he's more than. So it's greater than. If greater than the distance between that and the soldier state, distance between the hostage in his position is greater than 2 meters. Whilst that is true, we can now allow ourselves to give him an icon for people to track him. And to do that, we need to set up an icon first. So we're going to go back to on game mode started. Before we create the new hostage, it needs to be at the top. So we're going to put world icon. So we want to put set world icon. There's going to be 2 icons, one for the enemies, one for the friendlies. So to do this, we've got to go back into Godot, and we need to put in 2 world icons here. So world, we just put in icon. We just chuck 2 of those in. Just don't matter where they go. Put them anywhere you want. Just chuck them out of the way. Out of sight, out of mind. We'll quickly make a new node for that there as well, just to keep it tidy in Godot. So you can't just enable world icons in this anymore like you could in Battlefield 2042 Portal, which was fine. I don't know why they changed it, but now you actually have to specifically put in the world icon items into the map. I'm just going to put them as icons, put them up next to static somewhere, world icon 1 and 2. So we'll call this hostage icon team 1, hostage icon team 2. These also now need a ID, and we've already done the 401, 402s, 101, 202, 301. So we're going to now call this one team 1. So icons are now in the set category 5, team 1, and then 502 for team 2. That's all we need to do, and then just export that there. And back into our portal editor, we're going to put world icon. So we need, do we want text? I don't think so. We need world icon owner, world icon color, world icon image, owner, color, image. Of course, we need an enable icon as well. And we'll put the position. Oh, I've done that. That's the text. There is basically one of 2. You can give it text, or we just want an icon for this time. One icon, image, color, and owner, I think, is all we need there. Put the position in there for later use there. So get world icon. This is in 501. We want to specify that that is for team 1 viewing pleasure only. So that's for the friendlies to see, only for the friendlies to see. We're going to duplicate that to 502. 502 is for team 2. The image for each one. So world icon slots. Oh. There's another one somewhere. Set world icon image. Set world icon image. There it is. Got a bit confused then. Duplicate that to 502. Put them out of the way. We don't need those just now. Now, what icon should we give the image? We've got alert, assist, bomb, armed bomb, cross, danger, diffuse, EMP, explosion, eyed, fill, ping. Fill ping's quite good. Squad ping, fill ping. Okay, fill ping is literally like it's like a location item, which is icon, like that's like a pin, like a Google Maps pin. The squad one is similar, but it has like a little hole in the middle. Triangle, skull. Okay, so the skull could be for team 2. We're going to put filled ping for that one, and a skull for the enemy. And now we want icon color for 501 first. Duplicate that 502, and now to specify color we have to use the vector. So we put a vector in, and this is an RGB basically from 0 to 1. So just create and duplicate that. So for the for team 1 we want that to be blue, so that's R, so it's red at 0. We don't want it solid blue, we want it like that sort of baby blue like Battlefield uses. RGB, so we want full blue and about 0.7 green, and that'll give it that baby blue colour. And for the enemy that needs to be very red, so we're going to be full red, then 0.2 to give it a bit more of a pastel outlook so it's not as dark. In fact, we'll put that as 0.3, so it's not completely black. And that needs to go at the start of the round. And we want to turn them off as well at the start. So we're going to put a false in on those as well. So there's our icons ready to go. Drag them into the game round start at the top, so they'll initialize. And now where do we position them is the next question. So interact hostage, we've now made a hostage is returning which needs to go into the interaction part. Get rid of that. So whilst he's returning, we want to set that location of that position to his position at least every second. So we're going to put a wait in for 1 second. This block here where it says while is going to loop and loop and loop until I want it to stop. So whilst he's moving, it's going to continuously update this icon. So world position, so icon, get world icon. We've got 2 icons, we've got 501 and 502, but also we want to enable them. Enable world icon image before the loop, because there's no need for us to loop over the fact that we've enabled them. to the literal true in there. So they are now visible. So we need to get the position, which we've already actually got here. So we can just take that soldier state and put it straight in there like that. Done. We've already made that. So it's just going to update now. Every second that icon is going to update to his location. And yeah, that's that part done. Maybe we could put some sound effect in there after as well. Like you can hear his footsteps, or you can hear a ticking, like a capture point tick or something. We can do that at a later point. It's not important. Now, after that has started to whirl round, I'm going to copy that in there as well so we can double back up the fact that it's a wait and while. And then if he is not I think we can probably put a break in. No, we don't need to break that, I don't think, because it's already going to break when he's not close, not further away than 2 meters from the main base. When he gets back, we're just going to send ourselves a message again, just to confirm that he's back. And we're going to just run a test on that first. Display message. Just to confirm that this test works, because we still might have to change something before we do any kind of point system. So test OK. And first I'll get team 1. We're going to save that, and don't forget we've just exported from Godot, just to make sure that we've confirmed that. We're going to go to File, Safe Scene. We're going to export it again just to confirm that we've done it correctly, and we're going to add that to the map like so, and that is going into hostage, and we're going to save that. And load the game and test it out. Whilst we're waiting for the game to load, what we can do is start initializing the scores. So per hostage is going to score 1 point for team 1. No points for team 2, because they are going to win by getting at least 100 kills per hostage. And after each hostage, they're going to say, oh, so many reinforcements are remaining. We also need to set a anti-abuse system in. So if the enemies purposefully kill the hostage, they're going to be punished, basically. Hostage dev host. And we're in. So again, one of those 4 locations. gone the wrong way, haven't I? Need to go up these stairs. So that was a problem again, look. So this interact point here is still active, so we're just going to tab back out and just check that we haven't made a mistake with that interact point. Where was he? He was hiding just there. And this is .402. I don't think we specified that they're all turned off at the start of the game. No, we haven't. That is why they are all active, because what we need to do just here at the start of the game is turn off all of these interact points. So 401, false. .402, false. 403, false. 404, false. And for some reason these are set to false as well. They need to be set to true, obviously. There's a quick mistake that we made there. Actually, what we're going to do here as well is we're going to actually spot the players for us, I think. Actually, no, we're not. We're just going to quickly save that. Really quickly pop out of the game and reload it and make sure that it's definitely a full bug fix there. And once that is in place, then everything else is sort of vanity stuff, like UI, messages, scoring, and that's about it. And again, after that, we could take it a step further, put some sound effects in and things like that. But we worry about that once the core gameplay's actually working. How does the AI know where to move? Well, the reason why I chose this map is because whoever the developer of this map was pretty thorough with its AI pathfinding. So pathfinding on this is very, very good. Very accurate. So there's actually not much need to actually put your own AI pathfinding in on this. Other maps do require a little bit more TLC with that, but yeah. There we go. So we fixed that interact point and there's no hostage. So where else did we spawn a hostage? There was one across the road, I think. Was he here? Yeah, the other one was just in here. Oh. No, that's an interact point for a door, but there's no hostage there. And then there was a hostage here. No interact point, no hostage, so that leaves the fourth point, which was, I can't remember. Where was the other one? 1, 2, 2. Did we move the original hostages? We did not. That's why. So we're going to do that now. That's why. We can't, because it actually has chosen the first ones. We're going to put him somewhere. Where are we going to put this first hostage? Somewhere completely over here. I think. In this building's good. Right in the corner. Drag them over. We'll just quit out the game real quick. This will be a very quick fix. It's already in place. Hostage area, could probably do with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just do 8. Top down view. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, that's that area. Now the spawn points are going to be various as well, so spawn point 1 and 2, they're going to come over to here. In fact, they can go in here, yes. There's the 2, and then the other 2 can go somewhere over there. Probably in here. No. Is any of these shops open? Here. Shouldn't be far, it shouldn't be too far. There's our spawn points in. And then our spawn hostage can go up in the corner here. It's actually quite clever to put him here because if they destroy the building, it could hurt him. But if it doesn't kill him, then no problem. Make sure he's not touching his back. I think that's good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So again, we're just going to go to save scene. We're going to go PF portal and export that to level. We're going to quickly upload that into editor, so settings. Now, do we want to enable the world icon for the current position? I think we do before we want to do that as well. So I think we do want to do that. And to do that, we're going to go to set, we're going to copy that, going to copy that, going to copy that, and we're going to copy that, and we're going to go up to here, drag them in. I believe that's going to fix that as well. So quickly save. And go to maps, delete the old JSON, put in the new one, and save again. And now into game, and we'll just run a test. And if all this works, that'll be the end of the stream for today. And I will continue with this game mode experience tomorrow. We'll continue with this project on another stream. We should be able to identify the location of the hostage at this point. We haven't actually created that hostage to have a location. Yeah, we're missing that. No, we're not. We need to put some weights in here, otherwise it's too fast. So we're going to put a weight. For 5 seconds. just to spread out that time before the icon actually shows up. Just do a quick reload on that now, and this will be our final test for the evening. If there's any bugs, I can just write them down and make a start on those at another time. Am I missing something? We'll go to the locations anyway. So that's our first location. He's not there. He's not there. He's not there. Hey? He's not spawning whatsoever now. Why is he not spawning at all? There is nothing wrong with this code. Nothing wrong with that code. I'm going to put a deploy camera in. There's absolutely no reason to why that isn't now spawning from before. It was working fine. Yeah, it was working fine. And then I fixed the interact points and put the other one into place. Doesn't make sense. It's not even spawning. It's not even spawning the... I know what's the problem. I know what the issue is here. Okay. We've confused the code here because of this. So what we want to do here is we've done this wrong. We need to do something different here. We need to go to on game mode setup started. We're going to spawn here from a random ball. Get spawner 301, and that's going to be random real between 301 and 304. That's going to spawn them in a random location, and then on player spawned. This is what we want to do here. So if just need to we're not going to do random real because we've got the random real here. Get spawner from the value in the array and the value in the array has to still match 301 or 304. That's what we did wrong there. So that's going to spawn that. And then once it has spawned, if event spawner, equals get spawner, (301). Get rid of those, get rid of those, get rid of those, get rid of those, drag that out. That needs to go into here now. And in fact, we can dump all of this and get rid of that subroutine. No. Because we're actually replacing the subroutine with an actual full-on command here now. Duplicate those to 4. So, if it's a 301, it's 201, 401, 501, and 502, that's already the same. 301, so enable HQ. So it's 301, so it's 302. This is going to be 202, 402. Images, 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 that's fine. 303, 203, 403, 304, 204, 404. Done, I believe. And time for a test. I just want to make sure that the icons work and the hostage makes it back to the main base safely, etc., etc. So after 5 seconds we should see the icon. Do we see the icon pop up? We see the icon. Hostage. Just there. There he is. And the icon has popped up. That has fixed that issue. So now we have a working hostage icon. And he's even spawned into my squad, which is quite cool. And I can interact with him. Hasn't swapped his weapons out. Let's just check another location, make sure that there's no other spawns and there's no other interact points open. We've got an interact point. Why? Why have we got an interact point active? Very confusing. Why? I'm going to put a weight in. Okay, we're going to change this to that, all of that out. We know that the spawn points work to randomly select because it spawned somebody in one place and not the other places. And we're going to use that variable of that random as our trigger for this. If value in array for the random setup at 0, but equals (201) or 30 or 204. It's got to be 301 to 304 because we're using that as the spawner identification. We can't change that. There we go. That's done. That's done. I'm pretty confident about that one now. Just by using the variable rather than the location, that seems to fix that. There's our hostage icon, please. And now we've got no icon. What the hell? Dear me. Wow, now the icon doesn't work, but we've got the hostage icon. But not the actual ping. And that doesn't seem to be anywhere. And we've got no interact point. What the hell is going on? What the hell? Am I being stupid? Oh, this is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what? There's no need for this. No need for this at all. So on the player spawn, spawn AI gets spawner value in array randomly at 0 and call him hostage. So if it's at 301, could it be that stupid? Surely the interact points are at 400s. That's absolutely correct. There's absolutely no reason for this to not work. If it doesn't, then there's something gone drastically wrong somewhere out of something that's so simple as a code. I mean, this code is, to me, is just so simple. This isn't even advanced stuff, and there should be any reason for it to not work whatsoever. Exactly how I need this to work. But the game is, the server's basically getting confused at what my IDs are here. So I spawn in, we've got the hostage there, he spawned. Where's the icon? There's still no icon there. There's still no icon, which means to say the interact icon's not going to be there as well, so there's something wrong. That is absolutely retarded. There's no reason for that to not work. They're false at the start. On spawner spawned. I understand. I think. So the condition here needs to be equals get spawner event spawner I see the problem. Yep, I see the problem here. I don't need a condition. This is wrong, that's wrong, and that's wrong. So equals value in array. This is incorrect. This is incorrect. So get spawner event spawner so event spawner equals get spawner value in an array. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. This is not correct. This is not correct here. We need that spawner to be recognised. If event spawner equals and if event spawner If event spawner equals get spawner, (301). I think it's as simple as that. I think it's as simple as that, guys. It doesn't need to question anything further than just that. If the event spawner equals get spawner 301, for example, that's all it needs. It just needs to check which spawner it spawned from before it actually went ahead and triggered the interact point and also the icon. So theoretically, if it's checked that is correct at 301 or 302 or 303 or 304, which are the 4 positions we placed them in, then that should fix it. So what I'm expected to see here now is logging in, spawning, seeing the hostage icon, and then after 5 seconds a blue icon, and then when I run to that position there is an interact prompt. And if there is at the other locations, I'll have to check as well. So there's the hostage. And there's the... okay, that's worked. So we've got the hostage that spawned in to the random location. Has it got an interact point? If so, perfect. I've got to check the other places. So we'll release this hostage. I think there is an interact point. I think it's worked. Yeah, there is. Look at that. Okay. Yeah, and he gets released. Oh, hello. Out of bounds area there. Got to fix that. So he's going to make himself get back to main base. The icon's still following him. That's good. Before that happens though, I'd like to be able to kill him, but yeah, just to test how that works. I'll just swap him onto the other team for the next test. Test OK. Perfect. So that script has been completely fulfilled. He should die. Die, die, die. Is he not going to die? That's fine. Let me just run to the other positions to make sure they haven't spawned in duplicate interaction points. I only have to check one location and that should be sufficient to know. It's just through here. I know there was a location. I see, look. Oh no. Why is it spawned more interact points? Oh look. Yeah. It does specifically say only to enable 50 interact point 402 403 404. Why does it enable them all? they're all disabled from the start of the round. So why is something enabling them? Unless it's something in here. Very weird. But that is all, that the whole script is going from start to finish and it's working. Except for the interact points. Do I need to disable them all again? I mean, do I really have to do that if it's disabled from the start? Because that would just make a right mess of the code. That's really strange. So after the hostage has been returned, test OK. Wait for 5 seconds. Kill. Value array. That's going to kill him, so it kills him off. We just want to repeat that process, don't we? After another 10 seconds, spawn, death of hostage, set variable, spawn AI. Spawner spawned. Let me just make sure that I have changed my interact points here. It's 401. Interact hostage 401. Interact hostage 402. Interact hostage 403. Interact hostage 404. What if I was to reparent those just for the moment? And reparent the spawners in case it believes that they're part of the HQ. I don't believe so, but I mean that would be just damn right ridiculous if need be. That would be just so stupid. I don't. interact points are exactly correct. 401, 402, 403, 404. 301, 302, 303, 304. That is totally correct. I will just double check though that I'm not being stupid. That'd be very, very weird if I have to manually then, after each point, disable all of those interact points. That'd be disastrous, to be fair. Because there'd just be pages of freaking portal code that doesn't need to be there. Because the game just should understand that unless I enable an interact point, they should be. They shouldn't be there. So disabling them on round start is correct. Right, the hostage is over here. Icon works. I can speed that up a little bit now, that process. It's just keeping everything in like a nice neat timeline. Allows us, if there's like 60 people loaded to the server, I don't know what delays that it can entail. There is an interact point, that works. Good, let's check the other locations. I'm going to be quite disappointed. Jesus, man, what the hell? And I've got a feedback loop on that as well. That is just not right. There's absolutely no need, no reason whatsoever for that to happen unless there's a bug in the game. All the icons are working. Don't need to change them. Don't need to change them. Don't need to change them. Enable interact point. False. False, 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 false. On a player spawned. Enable. True. I know what's going to go on here now. Fuck. I know. This is going to be a bug. This is going to be a bug. You watch this now, guys. You watch this. Jesus, is this really going to be the bug? Do I have to make a rule for every single spawner? Do I really have to do that? Because that's going to suck. If this actually is the case, then this needs to be reported as a bug. because there's just no chance that, in any logical sense, that this is going to be the reason why. So, just to confirm, the AI spawns on the spawner at the location 301. Gets given the hostage, removes his equipment. Oh yeah, I needed to add equipment whilst we're doing that. Add equipment to that player, and it wants to be gadget 1, gadget item, EOD bot, and then force switch inventory to gadget 1. Done. So 401, 402. Enable 501, 502. Duplicate. Let's put that in there. Hostage spawn 2. If the AI spawns at 302, I want to enable HQ 202. I want to enable interact point 402. 501, 502, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Duplicate that again. This can't be for real. Surely not. So if he spawns on 303, I want to enable 203. Interact point 403. Duplicate the 4th time. Hostage spawn 4. Get spawner. If he spawns on 304, I want to enable 204. 404. Done. Man, if that's the actual fix for this, I'm going to be so disappointed, because that is going to be a bug in the game that's not allowing such simple logic to be processed in an if statement. Unless I have to do an if else and not multiple if. That's possible. Maybe it's an if else else else. Or I could do if then else statements and just make it in one rule but with longer. That's probably the best thing to do. I've got a bit of a thingy up at the top left there. So we've got the hostage location, we've got the icon, that's working. We've just checked the other interact points. If there's an interact point here, I just don't know what's going on. What the fuck? What the fuck? It's not even possible, man. It's not even possible. It's not even possible that they're still active. False, false, false and false. Hostage spawn. 401. It's not even possible. It's not even possible. So what is going on? Not even possible, man. It's not even possible. I just don't get it. I'm so confused at this because I've done nothing in my code to trigger that event, and the game is still triggering it regardless of... I mean, I haven't even written any code in that. There's nothing in that script to suggest that I want that to happen. So why is it? Oh my god, they're still there. They're still there. I've just disabled them completely and they're still there. There's got to be a problem with the game. There's got to be a fault here. Look, you can literally see it on my screen. I've disabled them. So there's something not right here. There's something... There's a bug in the game that desperately needs to be fucking fixed. Doesn't make any sense. If I just turn them off, hostage spawn, let's just get rid of all of the interact points. But I'm just actually now deleting the interact points completely from the map. I've literally deleted the interact points completely. So now, if they are still in game, Battlefield 6 Portal is literally just screwed because it's just totally knackered. It's just totally broken. I've been using interact points on Battlefield 6 Portal, making my commander mode for like the last 2 weeks, and I've never ever come across this problem until today. So unless there's been an update that I'm unaware of that has completely broken this function, I'm done with it because I can't make any of my game modes like I want to. So the hostage is fine, just as we want it to be. I've literally removed the interact points from the map. So if I go there right now and there's an interact point, we've got serious problems with this game. They're gone. They're gone. It's gone. Look, interact pointer is gone. Interact pointer's gone. So why is that being enabled? No interact point. It's fixed. Gone. I've literally deleted them off the map. So now I want to put the interact points in. I'm just going to put this back in manually now, just to confirm that there's no issues here. So for that, it's interact point 401. for spawn 2, interact point 402. I'm basically putting this back to how it was, but manually. This is interact point 403 and interact point 404. If they all show up, we've got major fucking problems. Really major issues here. Hostages spawned. Icon. Perfect. Oh my god. They've come back. There's a problem with Portal, guys. They've updated it and something's broken it. Something has completely and utterly broken Portal. You now cannot enable singular interact points. And they won't even disable now either. Oh wow, we are in so much trouble with this. Oh man, we're in so much trouble. What if I just changed all of the IDs to just like 202s and stuff? Just do it like that. I think this is a mess. This is a complete mess. It's a complete disaster if they've broken that. DICE are really, really going to be in trouble with them, with people complaining if that's the case. Let's see if that works. I mean, if that doesn't work, then DICE have completely messed this up in an update somehow along the line in the last few days. Because I've been using these interact points like no problem at all. And now not being able to state an individual interact point identification for it to be enabled and disabled on command is just devastating for people that are making cooperative missions and things like that right now. It basically stops the progress of anybody's portal creations that revolves around them timing interact points. It completely destroys it. So I'm going to try this workaround to see if this is still buggy now. Then there's nothing that can be done until there's been a fix put in place. The community's going to be in a lot of trouble if people are making cooperative experiences right now. Give up. Just give up until this has been fixed. I mean, I don't even know if DICE know about this or not. I mean, where do you even report bugs like this at Portal? We'll just try this workaround and see if that works, but if it works, it works, but it's still not ideal for anybody because they're going to have to change a lot of their scripting. So the hostage has spawned. He shows up in game. He's got his icon. Are the interact points everywhere else? If there's one here, then it's screwed. No, there isn't. There's one for the door, obviously, but no. Not one here. Does he have one? He does. He has an interact point. Let's just go to the other locations and just test that they've not spawned elsewhere. That's fixed it. See, that's not good, Dice. You need to have a look at that. What I've done is I've done a workaround for it to double check the location of the hostage, which shouldn't be necessary. So if I release this hostage now, that's an easy fix, because I've got to implement that into here. So it's on player interact. I can just quickly put that fix in to here, get interact point at the value in array like so, and fixed. Done. Okay, just quick reload. If he gets back to main and we get a test OK message, that's it. We've done what we needed to do for today. So what have we done today on this stream? We've set up 4 HQs for Team 2, added 4 randomly located hostage spawning points, we've added a world icon, we've added a variable to randomize the location, so our hostage has changed position now, it's over here. And we've also added a script for the AI to be able to run back to base by himself and get equipped with a smoke grenade, things like that. So let's just get this hostage released, make sure he gets back to main base. We should get a message to say that the script is fine. There we go, fixed. And on the next stream we'll talk about putting audible sound effects in for the fact that he's escorting himself back to main, like a ticking noise, maybe like a capturing point tick. The icon keeps up with him. I could probably speed that up so it's more accurate, but I think that's sufficient. And he should die as well automatically after 10 seconds and spawn through to the next point. Message OK? Come on. Test OK. Cool. And now the whole process should just repeat. There we go, he died. And now we should have another hostage. Or maybe not. Okay, we're all done for today, guys. That's all we need to do for today on this stream. I'll continue the stream tomorrow with some more additions to the hostage mode, and we will continue a little bit further with some more detailed things like sound effects and UI features, and also a proper scoreboard, and we'll do that tomorrow. Right,